All right. Well, we're live here at Tacobout Live with Frank and Manny.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning there, Frank. How you doing, bro?
Good, brother. It's good to see you again,
Hey,
man.
good to see you, man. Good to be. I'm glad to be back, man. My wife
Glad you're
and I-
back, brother.
Oh, praise the Lord! It's good to be back in the great state of Texas. You know, my wife and I, we took a trip all the way up to Williamstown, Kentucky, and I don't know if you know what's up there.
Nope.
The Ark Encounter.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Well, yeah. There's Kentucky Fried Chicken. Although I didn't have any, but I did have some fried chicken though. It's another place, but anyway, we went to the Ark Encounter.
Oh, nice.
And
nice.
so, which was actually pretty awesome. And so I'm trying to say, it says here our live feed was interrupted. I'm making sure to see if it's still on here. So let me make sure. Go into our page here, just to make sure that it is up.
Is it up?
Yeah, it looks like it's up. Yeah, we're up. Okay, all right, good. Well, for those of you who are joining us again this morning, thank you so much for being with us here at Taco Bell Live with Frank and Manny here in Del Rio, Texas. And I got to tell you, Frank, like I was just telling you earlier, I went out, my wife and I, we traveled all the way up to Williamstown, Kentucky. We went to the Ark Encounter that was put together by a group that's headed up by Ken Ham. I don't know if you've heard of Ken Ham. Yeah, Answers in Genesis and whatnot. And, it's funny, it's interesting because it was recommended to me by a good Orthodox Jewish rabbi friend of mine.
Wow.
Who went. And we were going to go spend some time with him, but he had to move. Him and his family had to move and whatnot. So anyway, we had that on our plan anyway for the year. So we went up there, and me being Jewish also, a Messianic Jew anyway.
Yes.
We went, and it's amazing. If you haven't gone, you have to go.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It makes so much sense that the way they set it up, the way they put it out there, and how all these animals were able to fit inside the ark, and it's incredible.
And the thing about that, Manny, is folks will say, well, how do you know that? You weren't there. Hey, just go to Genesis, man.
Yeah.
The Lord laid out the blueprint for Noah. I was going to say for Moses. The other old guy, man, for Noah. Yeah. And, so it took him a while, him and his sons, to build that, man. It's amazing, how much they were able to get done. But that's a fascinating story in the book of Genesis. If you want to look it up.
Yeah, it's amazing. And, they built it according to biblical specifications and whatnot. And it blew my mind away.
And I, when you say that, bro, I would imagine there's other sources of information as to how that was done, man. But we can get into that. That's a whole other different show, man. But,
But it reminded me, Frank, of the purpose for the ark, and how God saved Noah and his family, gave basically civilization 120 years to repent, or to come, and to stop all their evil.
Yeah.
And because of the dark days and the days of Noah, and the Messiah has told us that shortly before his return, it's going to be like as in the days of Noah.
Yeah.
So it brought forth reality to me, actually a reminder that I believe truly that we are living in those days.
Yeah. I mean, as we see what's happening in our nation, I'm reminded of that often, bro. And there's a heart cry. I mean, yes, of course, Yeshua, come, Lord Jesus, but at the same time, there's a lot of folks in this world that are in darkness, Manny. And some people will say, well, how presumptuous of you to tell. Hey, look, man, the word of God is clear.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ came into the world for a reason, to destroy the works of the evil one.
Yeah.
And so there is darkness in the land. But thank God for humanity, that the Creator God made a bridge. He made a way that we could be with Him forever in eternity.
Right, through the Messiah, through His Son.
Bro.
And so I truly believe that, and I praise the Lord for the Messiah. Praise the Lord for His salvation that He has given us, and the eternal life that He has given us through His Son, Yeshua. But the reality is, the thing is that a lot of people will tell me, and I know you take quite a bit of heat for it as well when you go out there and report and whatnot, and we've taken heat as a program in the sense, why are you guys, two men of faith who believe in God, why are you guys out there? Why are you guys reporting all these things? Yeah. Why are you getting involved in politics? Why are you saying the things that you're saying? Mm-hmm. And we're not making anything up, folks. We're reporting what is happening in our community, how it's affecting Texans, how it's affecting Americans, and it's amazing, Frank, because we went through Kentucky, we were in Tennessee, we were in Arkansas, and everybody we met over there, you know, of course, every time we would go stop somewhere, people would ask us, "Hey, where y'all from?" And whatnot. We'd tell them from Texas. Oh, what part of Texas? Del Rio. Oh my gosh, you know, it's amazing, folks, because I can tell you, if we went last year or the year before, nobody Del Rio, you know, but
Where's that?
Where's that? But everybody knows about Del Rio now. And it was amazing, Frank, how many people were telling us, we're praying for Del Rio. We're praying for you all there in that community. And it's a shame. It's a shame how Biden's open borders. They were upset with Governor Abbott as well, because they believe that Governor Abbott and Biden are all this surge and this open border is going to affect them as well.
Oh, yeah, man. And I'm glad that their eyes are open. And you know, all I can say is what that famous philosopher Scooby-Doo would say, row. Row. You know, it's bad, bro.
I almost spit up my coffee.
It's bad when, you know, Del Rio is not known for, you know, delightful Del Rio. It's not known for our beautiful, you know, Amistad Reservoir up here. It's not, you know, known for the beautiful, you know, welcoming, warm people that live here in this town. Right. It's known as the doormat. Yeah. You know, of not just Texas, but of the United States, man. So, you know, that is the reality, folks, that, you know, Del Rio was seen as the stepping stone, you know, let alone by the American people, but by the United Nations, by George Soros, by the cartels, by the politicians who have failed us on virtually every front. Right. Del Rio, Texas might as well have been known as doormat, Texas. You know, and I say that, it's sad that I say that.
You know, but it's true. It's true. The sad thing is, Frank, is that it seems like, you know, Texas is getting this reputation that we're laying down, you know, and allowing these illegal aliens to enter into our country. And the reality is, you know, because people would ask me, "What's up with your governor? You know, why isn't he doing anything?" Yeah. You know, and it's hard to answer that question, you know, because I don't know what's going through his mind, but I believe that Abbott isn't doing what he should be doing. You know, we've talked about it since the first episode, that if he would attack, you know, their commerce, you know, because they're not stopping this surge. We see this surge. We got numbers of over 400,000 plus that are on their way.
You know, and Manny, the thing about it right now, I mean, and of course, you know, people say, well, what would you do? Well, here's what we would do, man. I mean, we didn't get elected. We don't have the money for that kind of stuff. But nevertheless, the governor is our representative. He represents us and our interests. And so, you know, we've reached out, you know, through formal channels to governor's office as well. And right now is a time to be preparing, telling Mexico, you need to do something. They're crossing to Panama. They're coming into that bottleneck, which is, you know, the Guatemala-Mexico border. And, you know, in the interest of, you know, what's good for you, Mexico, you need to start you know, addressing the issue now. And so, well, there's a will, there's a way, Manny. I mean, you know, Mexico would just as soon just let them get on through. But when they get to the border with Texas, you know, their northern border, it still affects them, bro. The communities the Mexican communities along the Rio Grande River, they still have the fallout from it. We saw it before with the George Soros caravan during Trump's administration. And now, you know, we saw with this last surge that came across, but it's part of an orchestrated plan, and you know, there's a lot of entities involved in it, a lot of moving parts. But you know, we'll be spending a little bit of time talking about the role of non-government organizations. And you were talking about the heat, bro. Yeah. I've been taking some heat because I posted that story about the Valverde Border Humanitarian Coalition here. You know,
which made national news, right?
It was Fox News, bro.
It was Fox News.
You know, I was told, you know, stop attacking this person. Hey, look, we're just reporting. It's open source. It was out there. Fox News did a story on it, and we'll get a little bit into that in more detail as to the role of NGOs in this invasion and what's coming down the pipeline, bro.
Oh my goodness! You know, I was watching it was hard not to keep up. You know, I was trying to stay away from news and whatnot as we were traveling because we kind of wanted to enjoy ourselves. Yeah. You know, but when I heard about this, all these illegal aliens coming all the way from Colombia and through Panama and trying to make their way over to the United States, they're trying to tell us that the only thing that's holding them back is Title 42. Folks, that's not going to hold them back. Yeah. That, you know, they got a stay of Title 42. The only ones who Title 42 is affecting, folks, is Mexicans. Yep. Those are the only ones who really maybe some Ecuadorians are being returned under Title 42, but everybody else, folks, they're letting them in. You know, and then they put the report out that over 5,000 were deported back to Haiti. folks, I believe it's a lot less that were deported back to Haiti, and I'll tell you why. I was getting calls from the flight line, right, from the flight line, that many flights were being canceled.
Yeah.
The
flights headed to Haiti
were being canceled, and that they were being dispersed throughout the United States. On the record, it shows that these flights are going to go to Haiti, but on the day of, I was getting texts from the flight line, that they're not going to Haiti. They're being dispersed.
Yeah, and that's a sleight of hand. I mean, look at the ball, but as I've said, folks, you've got to look at the hand, man.
Yeah.
In the past, they said, well, keep your eye on the ball. Why? Because you want the hand to go and do its trickery.
Right.
It's deception. And it's not just the Biden administration, folks. It's not just, socialists who have taken over the Democrat Party, and to any a person of conscience left in the Democrat Party, man. I mean, what are you doing there? As you see, that socialist-controlled entity destroying our nation day in, day night, bro. They're plotting, they're planning, they're moving with their plan to destroy us on every front. And so, but it's just not the left. We have the establishment that's playing, along with it. And man, for some reason, I thought that our own, open borders Democrat LULAC Republican Congressman here, Tony Gonzalez, was going to be here today. He was here yesterday, man. And I just totally just missed that. I just totally missed that. I knew he was coming, but I thought it was today. And anyways, well, that's a lost opportunity. But, we'll see when we can get around to that. Anyways.
Yeah. I've been to his page a couple of times, and it's amazing to me because, in my opinion, he talks out of both sides of his neck. He 1 minute he's saying that he's upset with what is happening in this surge, but at the same time, he's basically part of the problem why they're coming through Del Rio. Actually, one of the reasons why they're coming through Del Rio, because he petitioned the Biden administration to use Laughlin Air Force Base to fly illegal aliens to the rest of the United States. And folks, that's basically an open invitation to everybody. Yeah. Hey, we're getting free flights, to our destinations.
Well, and there was a lot of moving parts, Manny, and so now all we can, I hate to even say the word hope, but as we're getting the word that these people are coming up, by the thousands, bro, by the thousands. They're expecting up to 400,000.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, bro, I can only hope that Abbott has gone from just words and, some token, shows of force out there. Some token displays with the pretty lights. All the vehicles, the DPS trooper vehicles. I hope he's gone beyond that, and I hope he's reaching out to Mexico. And saying, look, you're going to have to do something about this, because it's clear the Biden administration is not going to do it. And it's kind of like a perimeter defense, Manny. You know this from your Army days, bro. You have your external perimeter defense. I mean, you're forward deployed. You want to keep the problems away from, your home.
Right.
And as the enemy gets closer, and as you do what you can, you start to, draw that circle of defense closer.
Right.
And so now it's on Texas, man. And these people are fixing to be not just knocking at our door, but just walking through the open doorway.
Oh, yeah. And it's amazing, Frank, is that people, like I said, when I was over there, especially in Tennessee, when we were in Tennessee, we did a lot of stops and whatnot. And as we were talking with people, and every time I see veterans or I see, law enforcement, I always get up and I go talk with them. I want to meet people, and of course, when they're asking me where I'm from, it was amazing. We went to the Grand Ole Opry, and if you've never been to the Grand Ole Opry, man, you gotta go. It was it was a really, really amazing experience, and I actually became, I think, more of a. I'm not really too big into country music, but I think I got sold on it when I was over there, because it was amazing during the whole show. There were a lot of the artists were giving glory to God and even dedicating songs to God, and it was, to me, it was incredible, But my wife and I walked outside for a little bit, and there was a whole bunch of Vietnam veterans for a reunion there.
Oh, nice!
And they were all First Cavalry, And I ran up to talk with them because my father was First Cav in Vietnam, and he died in 2000 of cancer that he got from Agent Orange.
Wow!
And he's only 53 years old, and so every time I see Vietnam veterans with First Cav, I immediately go over there and start talking with them. And I was talking to I don't know, quite a bit of them anyway. And so when I told them about my father, man, they embraced me, they hugged me, told me they were sorry about everything. But then when we started talking about where we were from, and they found out I was from Del Rio, they immediately became upset with the Biden administration and how and started asking me questions. Are these illegal aliens? Are they being released COVID positive? And of course, I had to tell them the truth. Yes, they are. Yeah. Over 70 from the statistics we have, over 70 to 75% are, and they were worried because they believe that this Biden administration is purposely allowing this to happen. A lot of them weren't saying they're conspiracy theorists, Frank, but a lot of them were basically saying he's like letting these people in to kill us. Yeah. That was their view.
And it's funny you say that, bro, because Lara Logan just had a report. I'll be posting it later on, but she was on Sean Hannity's show, Fox News, and she was talking about the folks she's talking to on the ground here in Texas, specifically about the role of not the role, but the opportunity that right. this invasion offers to our enemies. And I've been using the term, bio-weaponized, people. Yeah. And people are, why are you referring to them that way? Because look, first of all, we know the bug was, altered. It was a higher gain,
right.
Stuff. And
from China.
Yeah. Yeah. and so, what is a gain of whatever? I forget the term right now. But anyways, she's reporting what we've been saying for months now, that this is an opportunity for people who to be used carrying bioengineered, weaponized, delivery. They're a delivery system, bro.
Right.
For what she calls in a report a virus bomb.
Wow.
And so it's kind of instinctive. I mean, with the advance of technology and science and all that stuff, that it's not beyond the realm of sci-fi movies here, that people would be injected, infected, prepared with bioengineered viruses, man.
Right.
And so it's just common sense, and there is a concern about that nationwide, man.
Yeah, there is a concern about that nationwide, and I heard it firsthand from people that I talked with over there in Tennessee and in other parts, and a little bit in Kentucky. And it, in my opinion, Frank, it's like a terrorist dream come true. Because I think a lot of people think that that terrorists are about the immediacy of chaos and the immediacy of terrorism. But the reality is, folks, they are extremely patient.
Yeah.
Extremely patient to try to infiltrate, to destroy, to bring in certain things. Viruses is of course something that we've heard throughout the years, that one day an enemy is going to learn how to weaponize a virus and send it throughout the world.
Yeah.
And I believe that is happening.
It's a golden opportunity, so on the piggybacking on that, Manny, is that at the front lines of this invasion, what we saw this last few months, since Biden's become the president, the men and women of the Border Patrol, bro, have been working day and night. They've taken a lot of heat, and I was thinking about that, bro. I probably inadvertently said this, in the sense that, hey, they're caught, processed, released by Border Patrol. Well, technically, you and I know, Manny, that once the Border Patrol processes them, they reach out to ICE, to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, because then it falls, and I think we clarified it, but I'll bring it up again. It falls into the hands of ICE as to what they're going to do.
Right.
And so DHS Secretary Mayorkas is, in charge of ICE, as he is of CBP, Customs Border Protection, Border Patrol. And so, their standing orders, their regs are, let them in.
Yeah.
A few people have been returned for this or that. Mayorkas has lied to us about the number of people. He even danced around with Stephanopoulos and didn't want to answer to him.
Right.
But anyways, the men and women of the Border Patrol have been working day and night, getting exposed to the bug, getting exposed to this entitled horde of people that come over and are expecting to be let in. There have been assaults on Border Patrol agents, plus the fact that it's very demoralizing. Just it honestly, I can say it sucks to be a Border Patrol agent right now. You and I both talk to them, and lately, what's transpired, man, and I'm sure you've gotten word now, is that there are Border Patrol agents that are honestly concerned, or you might even say scared about their future, bro, because they don't want this vaccine.
Yeah.
They don't want to get injected under a mandatory order, and they're facing termination proceedings starting in November.
Right, starting in November, and so word is that we got down through the pipeline, Frank, is that they are looking to fire Border Patrol agents who refuse the vaccine.
Yeah.
They're also, and sad to say, they're also looking to terminate the agents on horse patrol that were involved in this so-called whipping incident, which is ridiculous. But I talked with agents, Frank, and I talked with military as well. I've been talking with Border Patrol and also military that want nothing to do with this vaccine. And like I mentioned on our last episode, that I did talk to some who were willing to take the vaccine until they mandated it. Because to them, law enforcement's cynical anyway, but the reality is that they were thinking, why is this being mandated upon us? Something is not right about this.
Yeah.
So they didn't want to be forced to do anything that they didn't want to. And of course, I've been talking with healthcare workers as well. They're in the same boat. We see nurses that are leaving in droves right now.
Yeah.
Because of the mandates, and some are even being fired, because of it. But this mandate, I believe, well, I don't think I know. I believe it's unconstitutional. They don't know the side effects of it. I got a text the other day from a woman who asked my wife and I to pray for a friend of their son, 18-year-old who received the vaccination and now is in the hospital because they believe he has blood clots that as a result from that vaccine.
And there's accounts of that, Manny. But let's not forget this, folks. That even as this is being pushed on Americans, people are being fired, terminated, threatened, coerced, bullied, intimidated. However you want to say it. Freaking millions of illegal aliens cross the border, and not one single peep about injecting those people. Not one peep.
No.
Not one thing about mandatory injections for illegal alien invaders. Instead, let's fire the frontline personnel, Border Patrol agents in this case, and Customs and Border Protection officers at the Office of Field Operations. Those are the people in blue that are at the ports of entry. Fire them for not wanting to get injected, even as they're processing, illegal alien invaders who are not being injected.
And they're neglecting to take into consideration religious exemptions, health exemptions. Because I'm getting calls about religious exemptions. Me being, we were the chaplains with the Border Patrol for years, and then being a rabbi. I'm getting calls from Jewish military as well, and it's interesting. The amount of people that are reaching out to us, I read a report that Governor Abbott said, well, we'll hire them. Like, I appreciate that, but, Border Patrol to me was a dream job. I loved it. I loved being in the patrol. I loved being out there, for a long time I ended up getting put in the office. I was in the office for a while, doing chaplaincy work and whatnot. But, for a lot of folks, Frank, being out there in the field is awesome, and it's a dream job.
I was an assistant chief at HQ, bro, working on the recruitment program for Border Patrol in 6,000. And it's exactly what we looked for. We're the outdoorsy, recreational-minded people, because the job was going to entail them being, out in the boonies.
Yeah.
Out working alone, working at night, working in the extreme climate, And so that's exactly what we looked for. And now it's all being, I guess I could say desecrated, man. I mean, their mission is right now is not to prevent, protect America from weapons of mass destruction, terrorists, man. They're having to process people and turn them over to ICE and the Office of Refugee Resettlement.
Right.
And so they're winding up, that's where the release is coming through, because ORR is under Health and Human Services as well, right? So, I think it's under... Well, HHS is involved, and I'll clarify that specifically, but Office of Refugee Resettlement, HHS, Health and Human Services, and the ICE are releasing people into the country. Like you were saying earlier, Mayorkas is saying, well, we flew them out, whatever. Now that's all been exposed as a lie. Meanwhile, our agents are having to get concerned about at the end of the month, November, they might not have a job. And there were a lot of people that were calling, step down, Border Patrol, obey your constitutional oath. They hung in there as long as they could.
Right.
And they're still hanging in there. But yeah, just this weekend alone, I had several conversations with people Border Patrol agents that are very concerned, and they were asking for information, to file for the religious accommodation.
Right.
OPM, I have it right here, the Office of Personnel Management, who oversees, several million federal employees, has sent out a directive to all health and human resource directors and program managers to start with the proceedings immediately. To start with the vaccination under the executive order Biden's 14043, requiring coronavirus disease 2019 vaccination for federal employees. And it says, to start early, but employees who refuse to be vaccinated or provide proof of vaccination are subject to disciplinary measures up to and including removal or termination from federal service, man.
Oh my goodness, man.
And so the only exception is for individuals who receive a legally required exception pursuant to established agency processes. So that's the medical exemption, which is very difficult, very lengthy to prove, bro.
Right.
And then religious accommodation. And so, I feel for these agents, man. One guy that I spoke with, Manny, has 6 months to he's eligible to retire, bro. He has gone 19 years, 6 months, and right on the cusp of retiring, he may have to be forced out of the agency, bro.
Wow, bro.
I mean,
so that means he's not gonna be able to collect.
He won't be able to collect his pension.
Wow,
man.
dude.
To work, your entire career, to look at getting out, and he's, understandably, man, 6 months, man. If I was in the patrol right now, and if I had annual leave, and I wasn't fixing to get out for whatever reason, I'd say, you know what, buddy, go on leave, man.
Yeah.
Go on leave right now. Just burn it all up. Burn up your sick leave. Man, I know that a lot of agents stockpile their annual leave to cash in on it at the end of their career, like you and I did. But I'd be telling them, maximize as much of that as you can. There's the family fairness. What's it called? FLM.
Yeah. FFLA, FFL or something.
No, was this the federal FMLA?
Oh, yes,
Family
FMLA.
Medical Leave Act, FMLA. You could use that. And then there's some agents that say, hey, you know what, man, I just took the vaccine, whatever, bro. I took it. Well, I'd be walking around to those guys and say, dude, can you spare me a week?
Yeah.
Because I need to get out. So there's a lot of distress, already on top of everything that these border patrol agents have had to be dealing with.
And it's funny it's interesting because when I talk to agents and military, and even healthcare workers, people would say, just take the vaccine.
Oh my God.
And just, the reality, folks, is it's not about the vaccine. It's about our freedoms. Yeah. Once we start compromising a little, the government's going to come in and we're going to end up compromising a lot. And people keep, they tell me, why do you keep, comparing this to the rise of Nazism and the Holocaust? Because this is how it started. Mm-hmm. We talk to Holocaust survivors. You can go to the Holocaust Museum website and you can look at videos of Holocaust survivors, and you'll see some testimonies in regards to why did we stay in Nazi Germany, and because they didn't see the big picture. They didn't see that their freedoms were being taken away because it was in the name of security, of health, and safety.
Prosperity, bro.
Prosperity.
For the new Germany.
Right. And so they thought that these Holocaust survivors, Jewish Holocaust survivors, thought that they were essential to the government in providing a better way of life for all Germans, right? Yeah. But that wasn't the case. And we see that happening with the Biden administration right now, that they are pitting vaccinated and unvaccinated against each other. Or actually, I'm not against anybody who's vaccinated. I'm not. I have no problem. If they want to get vaccinated, that's up to them. Yeah. But don't impose it on me. Yeah. So it seems like but the Biden administration is making this making the unvaccinated out to be the enemy. Oh, real quick, we got a viewer from Florida. I just want to say hi. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. How about that DeSantis, man? Way to go.
Yeah, Governor DeSantis, awesome. And so hopefully, he ends up running for vice president or even president. Who knows?
We'll see what.
Yeah, we'll see what transpires. But the thing is that like I was saying earlier, a lot of these agents I was talking to in military were willing to take the vaccine until they mandated it. Because it's about our freedoms, Frank. It's about it's about the Constitution. It's about being an American. It's about being an individual with individual rights that are as the Constitution and tells us, endowed by our Creator, right?
Yes.
And so we have these unalienable rights as Americans, to accept things and not accept things. And as an American, I should be okay if you don't want to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
Right? Or whatever, because that's your right as an American.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we said, bro. I mean, our state and federal, government has, enacted regulations and laws that we don't all agree with, man. But there's a process, legislative. We put initiatives, measures on the ballot, and we vote on that kind of stuff.
Right.
But under this executive order, Biden is just marching around like a tyrant, doing horrible things. Here we have, the threat of a huge surge of people coming right now, passing through Panama. And he wants to fire the people that are going to have to interact with him.
And we're already undermanned as it is.
We're undermanned, and, the process was broken. That's why they had to fly out. Well, actually, you know what? Let me qualify that. They flew these people out from Del Rio because of the optics, Manny.
Yeah.
And we can kind of segue there into an argument, something that's come up lately. And part of it stems from my visit to Carrizo Springs, to the facilities down there. They have 2 facilities for children. And they say, for teenagers, but it's from 2 to 17 years of age. So 2-year-olds all the way up to 17. And real quick, before I forget, Rock Springs is on. Arizona is on. I saw several other people here that, that jumped on. We thank you all for joining us. Spread the word. Tell folks about what a couple of Texans down here, we're trying to bring attention and talking about the issues over here. But, man, what's transpired, and we've seen it, is the role of the NGOs.
Yeah.
And so one of the arguments that I heard of specifically about the Valverde Border Humanitarian Coalition is that, it was stood up because of the invasion and that happened back, from the Soros caravans. And so they got together to keep Del Rio safe, keep citizens safe. We shouldn't be slamming them. But, think about it, Manny. These people were perfectly okay with funneling through Del Rio into the heartland of America, into other communities in this great United States. These people were okay with spreading the disease into America. It's and they were saying, well, we're keeping Del Rio safe. Look, at the end of the day, it's up to every individual person to keep themselves safe. Right. That's what you talked about, the inalienable rights that God gave us. And part of it, bro, the pursuit of life is to defend life, to defend our life. And so these NGOs, particularly the one here in Del Rio, they try to do that sleight of hand. Hey, look, we're keeping Del Rio safe. Oh, as you endanger other communities.
Right.
We're keeping Del Rio disease out of Del Rio. Oh, as you spread disease into the interior of America.
You're exactly right, Frank. Because when I was in D.C., in Tennessee and in Kentucky, talking with people, a lot of people understood what was happening because they were waking up in the morning, Frank, and their towns, and they're like, where do these people come from? Yeah. And these illegal aliens walking around and whatnot, and they're asking me, we don't even know if they're vaccinated or not. I said, look, they're not. Yeah. The majority of them are not vaccinated. And they said, so why do we want this problem? Why are they releasing them here? Folks, all this does is basically get the problem that we have here and put it on somebody else's shoulders. And our local leaders, Frank, I hold responsible as well for this issue. Yeah. We got a comment here that our children are not allowed in schools without their shots, yet we all have these children crossing borders without their shots. Yes, it's true. It's true. And Saki's excuses, Frank, is that they're not here to remain permanently. Folks, you know where these 400,000 are coming from? They're not coming from Haiti. They may have originated or were born. Some of them were born in Haiti, but they're coming from South America and Central America, and even the news tells us, Frank, they're coming from Colombia through Panama, through Mexico. The majority of these illegal aliens, like we've said over and over again, have not even been to Haiti for years. Yep. A lot of these infants that are coming over here were not even born in Haiti. Yep. A lot of these adults that keep using the earthquake as an excuse never even experienced that earthquake a few months ago because they weren't there. Yep. And so this Del Rio coalition, this humanitarian coalition, folks, is a farce.
It's a liberal front for socialists. For and since we're going to talk about that real quick, Manny, there is, just like there's a problem within the Republican Party with the establishment rhino swamp element, within Christianity, you have the liberal theology.
You do.
You have liberal theology that basically ascribes to socialist principles.
Right.
Man, the only thing that they need to be careful with is socialism seeks to become for government, to erase God from the equation.
Right.
And so, it can look all good. Look, we're keeping Del Rio, like the person that was commenting said, did you want him on your streets? Of course we didn't want him on our streets. But you know what? The model was right there before our eyes, man. We had up to almost 18,000 people in this little, probably half a mile square, piece of land.
Yeah.
Bro, I mean, we own, you and I know the terrain here, specifically in Del Rio, and folks that are from the Del Rio area know what I'm talking about. The Faith Mission down to Rio Grande Lane, where the Trump Wall is, that's all federal because that land was purchased from the owners. Bro, you could fit, if 18,000 fit there, you could easily put 500,000 people down there. And people are like, oh my God, you know what? I would rather these people be in a camp right there than spread into America, spreading into the towns and communities, spreading disease, spreading crime and violence. Not everybody's evil. Not everybody's a bad person. Not everybody's a criminal. I'll give you that, bro. But at the same time, that alone, they're not all bad. Okay, so we let in freaking, everybody and hope to find out and hope that, some community up in Mississippi or Florida or Iowa, Pennsylvania doesn't open up. Wake up one morning with a freaking full-scale slaughter on their streets from an illegal alien, bro.
We're already getting reports, Frank, that a lot of these illegal aliens that have come through are assaulting people, sexual assault. We had an elderly woman in Eagle Pass who was raped by illegal aliens. And then the reality, too, is that, we had a comment here that it's not the Haitians walking through our properties. And I'm assuming, Judy, you live outside the area of Del Rio.
She's up there by Rock Springs.
Well, and it's true. It's true. What's happening, folks, is the cartels and even the Mexican government will send all these Haitians into the local area while the ones who don't want to get apprehended, they go around. Yeah. And so you're right. It's not the Haitians that are going through the ranch properties. It's the criminal aliens. It's the drug smugglers. It's sex offenders. Yeah. We've known for years. I think Chief Rodney Scott has mentioned this before, and he was on Fox News, and I missed it last night. We may be able to get him on the show.
Awesome, bro.
We're trying to set that up. But anyway, he's mentioned for years that Islamic terrorist organizations have been working with the cartels with MS-13. Infiltrating the country, and we see these, and I can bet you, these ranchers can tell me, and point it out that yes, it's single adult men or young military age men that are walking through these properties, backpack, camoed up, and avoiding detection or avoiding they're not even avoiding detection anymore. They just know that they're not going to get apprehended, so they're on the cameras, they're everywhere, they're on the footage on the drones. I get sent all kinds of pictures to me and whatnot. But nobody's able to go out there and get them.
And real quick, Manny, as we're talking about this stuff, what's going on? The cartels are definitely taking advantage. That's the money part.
Right.
The ideological part, which is where the Socialist Democrats are working with like this liberal entities like Valverde Border Humanitarian Coalition, who are wrapped up in hey, well, we're faith-based, whatever. Yeah, you're liberal. It's liberal theology is what it is.
It is.
And so, anyways. The United Nations, bro, somebody was asking me, because they threw a number out there, 1.3 billion, 1.2 billion. Lara Logan has been following this, reporting, and on the ground, researching and looking, talking to the subject matter experts on the ground and doing her research. So you folks need to look up the United Nations Global Compact. You look up the United Nations Global Compact. President Biden was just, he just dealt with the United Nations. And so basically, you've heard about those, deals being worked out in the back rooms, cigar smoke filled back rooms, bro. Right here, it's Biden with the United Nations, the world, talking about the decimation, the destruction of America as we know it, bro, as we know it. And so, United Nations Global Compact. Look that up. Do your research, folks, and then look up George Soros and the Open Societies Foundation. Open Societies Foundation. He's the one that just sent $500,000 to Austin to defund the police.
Wow.
To fuel, to fund, to support the defund the police initiative in Austin, Texas, bro. And this is Texas, man. You know,
Wow.
as you were talking earlier about going to Tennessee, what the other thing, you know, that Tennessee is famous for, bro, besides Nashville country music and all that, is the volunteers that they sent
right.
to Texas to fight for freedom, for independence, bro.
Right.
And so they must be, you know, I remember when I was moving up to DC, it was me and my dad were, I was, you know, had been transferred to the headquarters up there, and we stopped in Tennessee, fueling up. Guy says, "Hey, Texas, you know, I see the plate. Yes, sir, from Del Rio." And he says, "You know, there wouldn't be a Texas if it wasn't for Tennessee." And I was like, "Thank you, sir, for the volunteers. I mean, you got a right to be proud about that, you know, because, you know, they were part of establishing the Texas aura, you know, the mystique of Texas. And right now, man, it's freaking getting trampled.
Yeah,
Just
and,
getting, you know, don't mess with Texas has become, you know, come punch us in the face.
Yeah, and people are upset about it. You know, I kind of want to get back to this coalition. You know, according to the Fox News.
Rein me in, bro.
Yeah, because according to Fox News, which was a Fox News story, and I know you've taken heed about exposing this coalition because, again, folks, I'm going to tell you right to the camera, it is a farce. It is a farce. It is a socialist front, a liberal front. You know, and if you're, and sad to say, Frank, we've also met people that are involved in the religious community that are part of this coalition, and I have no idea why, except that they have liberal theology and they're misinterpreting the scriptures, and what we can talk about that on a whole nother program.
Yes.
But here, according to Fox News, she's helped coordinate nearly the travel for nearly 1,200, and they call them migrants. They're illegal aliens.
Yeah. Invaders.
Invaders between here for only, and it says here September 20th to the 24th. 4 days. 4 days, over 1,000.
Yeah.
Frank, we're talking about since it's not just 4 days. We've seen.
Yeah, that was just 4 days.
That was just 4 days.
Repeatedly, as we saw them working at Stripes, and they're still out there at Stripes. They're still working out there because I guess it's not enough yet.
Even in violation of Governor Abbott's order.
Yeah,
right?
that Abbott, the order went out, and of course now we know it's toothless. But anyways, at that point, he puts it out one day, and the very next day they're back in operation. They shut down for one day, and then they're back in operation. They're just thumbing their nose, you know, whatever, razzing Governor Abbott. And folks have said, "Hey, take it easy on Abbott." Look, guys, man. This is what you call existential times. That means, you know, these are existence threatening times. This is a time, folks, where the face of America is being changed. Yeah. And Del Rio and Texas, with its 1,200 miles of border, is at the front of that. And so we owe it to those Tennessee volunteers. You know, they came and fought with our Texas founding fathers, bro.
Yeah.
We owe it to them and to their children, their offspring. We owe it to the rest of America, you know, for Texas to put up a stout, robust freaking defense, man.
Yeah.
You know, and so I'm not, you know, look, I'm not talking about, you know, shooting people. I'm not saying that. But we saw the model when Customs and Border Protection closed the bridge right here in Del Rio, bro. Mexico hurt.
Yeah.
Commerce hurt. The economy in Mexico hurt. And immediately they went and stopped the traffic that was coming back and forth on the cement, the weir.
Yeah.
It stopped on the Mexican side. Yeah, they went around. But then, you know, that just shows you that, you know, when they're pushed and prodded, Mexico will do something. And that's what Abbott needs to be doing right now. Any of you folks watching, you got, you know, and we can certainly, you know, tag him later on. But the key to it is the economic pressure on Mexico.
Yeah.
Transfer the pain.
Yeah. Yeah. The gentleman who's running for Texas Land Commission.
Weston Martinez.
Weston Martinez. He, you know, I spoke to him a few weeks ago when Sharpton was here. I loved it when you know, I didn't love that Sharpton was here. I love what you know, how Texans stood up and said, "Hey, we don't want you over
Anthony
here."
Agüero.
Yeah, Anthony Agüero stood up, became the Don Bongino's hero of the month because of that. You know, and that's just one voice that actually there was a few more people that were saying saying things as well, but his was the most prominent and we could hear, you know, but folks. Our voices need to be lifted up.
Yes.
We don't want this invasion in our state. We don't want it in our country. You know, and the governor needs to hear this from you folks. Yeah. So we need to flood his office with calls. You know, sadly, we know that Tony Gonzalez is not going to do anything. He talks out of both sides of his neck. So I don't even know if calling him would help. He's just going to, you know, lip service basically is what he does and what he's good at. You know, but here on this Fox News report, it says that this humanitarian coalition is a faith-based organization. I don't know what faith they believe in, to tell you the truth. It may be, faith-based is very vague nowadays. But the reality, folks, is that they're not helping. People think that they're helping these illegal aliens, Frank. They're not. Actually, it can be causing more harm than good, because what happens a lot of times, folks, and you may not know this, but many times when these illegal aliens come into this country, they end up going to areas where areas where other illegal aliens live, right, and reside. They form their own communities. A lot of them, the crime is really high there. They end up being victimized by their own people.
Sexual
trafficking occurs there.
Extortion.
Many of them come over here, folks. They're indentured servants for years because they're still trying to pay off the smuggling organizations and the cartels for bringing them over here.
Yeah.
It's never good. Nothing ever good comes out of this.
Yeah, and Manny, just the initial assessment, man. This was posted out there, and I was taking some heat, long, paragraphs about, justifying what this organization is doing. And at the end of the day, I'm just like, yeah, I hear you, everything you're saying, but it's so myopic. It's just so short term. When you look at the big picture, like I was saying earlier, no disease in Del Rio, spread it into America.
Yep, that's what's happening.
No one walking on the streets of Del Rio, send them to walk the streets of, the heartland. A drain on no drain on local resources. Yeah, go drain some other resources in some other community. It's a lack of logic. I was gonna say, their logic doesn't make sense. It's a lack of logic, not thinking through to the consequences of their actions, bro.
Right, and people don't understand everything that's involved in illegal immigration, Frank. In reality, it doesn't even help our economy one iota either. If people are like, well, they're gonna take jobs, they're gonna work in places that other people don't want to work, and even if they do, folks, all their money goes back to their country of origin, to their families, and then they work at getting more of their family members over here. Yeah. And then eventually they leave or they go back. And how do we know they go back? We've seen it year after year, Frank. What, December, January, there's just mass migration south, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's going back for the winter, right?
Yeah.
And to take all their money that they earned over here to stimulate their economy and their country of origin.
We would see it traditionally, bro. I mean, we have those folks that come through. Remember, starting the end of summer.
Yeah.
We start getting these vehicles. We start seeing them as they go back to Mexico, and it's the Central Americans who are here under TPS, temporary protected status, given out during the Clinton administration.
Yeah.
To many of them, for a hurricane that went through, I forget what it was, Mitchell or something. Anyways, so they fled, because it was so terribly devastated.
They go right back.
And then they come over here, bro, and you've seen it. They'll buy the Japanese vehicles, Toyotas or whatever. Yeah. And then you'll see them going going back. They're towing another vehicle, and they're both loaded to the top. Probably the maximum legal limit. As they're driving back down through Mexico into Central America,
back to the country that they're supposed to be
the
fleeing.
Devastated nation, and woe is me over here. And so it's our process, our system, bro. It's just being, it's just getting used and abused.
And as agents, what were you told to do? Leave them alone.
Yeah, let them go south. Let them go south, and then at some point, they enter illegally again somewhere.
But how do we know that a lot of these Haitians, are returning as well, folks? I posted a picture the other day, and I think I took it down, but where passport IDs, other IDs, identifications, birth certificates have been discarded at the river, because it's a common tactic, folks. And we found out that the majority of these adult males have been here to the United States before, but they lost their status. They were here as lappers, legally admitted for permanent residence, which goes right into the face of Psaki, who said they're not here to remain permanently. That's why they don't have to go through the vaccine or go through these mandates. Folks, the majority of these adult males were here as lappers, legally admitted for permanent residence. What is that? It's a pathway to citizenship to remain here. When Border Patrol agents interview these OTMs, and these Haitians are OTMs other than Mexicans, one of the questions that is asked, why did you come to the United States? And what is the answer 99.9% of the time? To work and reside in the United States permanently.
Yeah,
right?
I remember sitting down, pues, ¿para qué vienen? Why are you coming? Pues para ganar la vida, to make a living.
To make a living, right.
It wasn't, and then you did start seeing a little bit of that, getting injection. Oh, but to avoid persecution, to avoid the
Yeah.
gangs. Really?
Yeah.
And you want to go where? Chicago?
Yeah.
You want to go to the south side of Dallas or Houston?
You want to go to L.A. And the thing is what's interesting too is you would
To
ask
avoid the gangs?
to avoid the gangs, and you would ask them, okay, well, where's the rest of your family? Oh, they're still over there.
Yeah.
They're still over there with the gangs, with
Yeah,
the
it's
with
so
the
dangerous.
with the persecution that you're supposedly, it's ridiculous, folks. It's a farce. And if you don't know this, I forgot who was it? One of the guys running for president at one point in time, black man who was running for president. He was on the south side of Mexico, he was. They were actually coaching.
Yeah.
Coaching.
What was it? The guy that became the health and
Yeah.
the housing guy?
Somebody,
God,
I can't remember his
the
name.
name forgets me right
But
now.
but
Escapes me.
they were down south along with Kamala Harris at one point in time, coaching illegal aliens on what to say, right, and what to answer when they came over here to the United States illegally, folks. And then with this NGO, I don't know if many of you know this because we've said it over and over again, folks. I got a text from an insider not too long ago, Frank, that they're receiving anywhere from $1,300 to $3,000 per person, right?
Wow.
When folks. For 4 days, there was over 1,200 people that this NGO helped. They were each receiving anywhere from $1,300 to $3,000 per person.
Yeah.
Right. And then so you multiply that, and then you go for another 4 days. That's another 1,200 to 1,500 people.
Yeah.
Folks, all this money is out of our pocket.
It's kind of that's the other thing, bro. And it's lost on people, Manny. It just there's always two sides to every story. Remember that day you and I were out there filming,
Yeah.
and this same person, the same director, came out and spoke to us. What are you doing? And we were filming, blah blah blah. So she, we're kind of talking a little bit. She was kind of leery, but it didn't get into the point to where I asked her. So, will you be reimbursed with taxpayer funds?
Yeah.
And that's when she says, in the conversation, I don't want to
Yep.
be in your video. She walked away. A few minutes later, the police arrive, and they get. And real quick, folks, look, I'm not anti-police. I've always been a supporter of the men and women, who go out there, place their lives in the line of fire out there. I'm not anti-police. I'm just anti-bad policing, bro. There's some people, that shouldn't be in law enforcement. Just like there's some people, that shouldn't be cashiers at Walmart, or shouldn't be attorneys, or shouldn't be, federal, shouldn't be president.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's people that shouldn't be wherever they're at, in whatever career they're at. And as a 33-year law enforcement officer, military and border patrol, I can say that, because I am an internal stakeholder and I'm a subject matter expert on it. There are some people that have no business in law enforcement. They don't have the mental, maturity. They don't have the emotional self-restraint and control.
Right.
They're not humble, bro. They're not humble about the noble calling of law enforcement. Instead, it's an opportunity to exercise authority over others. And man, there's some people at the moment that badge gets pinned and they strap in that gun, it goes to their head.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so I'm just
Yeah.
anti-bad policing. I'm not anti-police.
Right, and it's sad. It's sad that and then we went over there a few weeks later, and I think I was with Pete Perez, and we went over there, and there was media all over the place because they got word that Al Sharpton may be stopping by, right? And and I was pointing out to Pete, I said, you see where all the media is standing? Those are places that me and Frank were told to leave.
Yeah.
Right? And then they started parading all the illegal aliens out in front of the media. And what were we told? We don't want them.
Don't talk to them.
Don't talk to them. We don't want them paraded or.
Why are you showcasing them? Why are you
right.
Making them a public spectacle, whatever?
Right.
Jeez.
And then because of Al Sharpton may be there. Next thing you know, they're all being paraded out. They're being showcased, right? Everything opposite of what we were told that they didn't want. They were doing.
And that's the thing about it too, Manny. That it's only when it benefits them. They want this publicity. I mean, this was a story that I posted. Fox News. It's still on my Facebook page. I posted it. I did not, say anything personal about the woman. Hey, look, just listen to what this woman has to say. Why are you attacking her? I'm not attacking her. But the logic that they use to do what they're doing is wrong because they're okay with the rest of America suffering the consequences of this illegal alien invasion.
Right.
They're justifying it in their mind. Hey, we're serving God. yeah, okay, as you go and kill other people by, spreading this disease or whatever. Anyways, the other thing about it, man, is that we saw clearly what Governor Abbott needs to be doing right now in two separate incidents. They closed trade at Customs and Border Protection, and the other thing is, if we can hold 18,000 people, bro, if we can hold them under that bridge, a narrow strip, hey, man, we don't owe them anything.
Right.
There is a process. They're circumventing the process. We know that they don't qualify for asylum.
Yeah.
So aside from the process aspect of it, bro, we don't owe them anything.
Right.
And so that entire strip of land right now, they need to be clearing it out.
Right.
And they need to be, preparing to house them here indefinitely, Governor Abbott. House them indefinitely on the border. They're gonna cross, bro.
Right.
And then this argument about, well, it's a federal issue. People, man, you gotta read the Constitution. I don't want any spam right now. Anyways, read the Constitution. It's very clear, man, that when the federal government fails us, it's up to the states to repel invasions and to safeguard the security of the state, bro. And Abbott needs to do it.
Right.
Yeah, there's no excuses. There's no, hemming and hawing, and there's no, testing the political winds. Governor Abbott, you need to secure Texas because our way of life is being endangered. Our future is being endangered.
Right. And then to local media and whatnot, and actually all media, and even the average citizen, folks, there's two things. They're not asylum seekers and they're not migrants. They're illegal aliens.
Yep.
We know that they're not seeking asylum because the majority of them will never show up to their court hearings. Matter of fact, they're not even given a court date anymore. They're given a notice to report, which means that they're trusting these illegal aliens once they get to their destination to go
turn themselves
in for a court hearing. That's not going to happen. We already knew that over 90% of them were not showing up to their court dates when they were given a court date. Yeah. And also they're not seeking asylum because they should have done this while they were in South America, Central America, and Mexico. According to the law, it's the first country you come into contact with. We know that they're already discarded all their passport, all their IDs, because if they find out that if the federal government finds out that they were living in other countries, which they were, that disqualifies them for asylum seeking. And in my opinion, as well, I mentioned this last broadcast also that I think Joe Biden has also ruined the lives of many of these Haitians that are coming across, because the reality is that a lot of them feel that they've been invited by him. And how do we know this? We talked with them, Frank. Remember, and they were telling us, Joe Biden invited us over here.
Yeah.
So
El presidente dijo, the president said.
Yeah. And so they come over here. Many of them were making livings over there. They had, having children. Their children were going to school. And now they believe Biden is going to basically give them a claim over here in the United States. Folks, we're running out of time here today, but I wanted just to remind you that we do have a website. Let me put this up on the screen here for you. For those who are listening to us on the podcast later, it's tacoboutitlive.com. You can go to our website, email us, look at our podcasts as well, download them if you want to. We're going to be updating with some articles as well in regards to what is happening in our state and in our country. You can also visit Frank's page, U.S. Border Patriot, right?
Yeah, Frank Lopez Jr., U.S. Border Patriot.
Right, and so you're still looking for 1,000 subscribers for your YouTube page?
Yeah, I'm at about 600 subscribers to YouTube. And yesterday, bro, that Facebook went down. That's exactly what we need, alternate platforms. I'm working on YouTube, Rumble. I know there's an Instagram out there, and working on a web page. So, folks, we need to have that. We need to have the diversity of platforms to get the word out. But we need your support. We need you to engage with us. Subscribe, like, share. Real quick, Manny. There's I just got a message here, man. There's a bunch of folks fixing to get flown out of Laughlin Air Force Base again. And this is from people that they're sick and tired of what's happening at Laughlin Air Force Base. It's being perverted. The mission of national security is now the mission of national invasion. But anyways, real quick, this coming week, October 11th, and that is on, let me see.
It should be a Monday, right?
Monday the 11th. Maria Bartiromo, you folks know her from Fox News. Maria Bartiromo is going to be in Brackettville, Texas. 30 miles up the road. Wow. And she's going to have at her guest at a town hall, Attorney General Ken Paxton.
Oh, wow.
And there's some folks I've been yelling at, saying Ken Paxton needs to come to the border because the establishment is pushing Eva to run against him, and Guzman, and she's the Abbott establishment pick. In other words, they consider themselves king makers, and so Abbott is pushing Eva Guzman. So anybody that Abbott pushes, stay away from. And so Ken Paxton is running against her. He's going to be in Kinney County at the Civic Center, 7 p.m., Monday, the 11th of October, 7 p.m. Maria Bartiromo, Ken Paxton. And the other thing, Manny, the Split Reins Trail Drive to support the men and women of Border Patrol, to support our Horse Patrol, is this Saturday, right here in Del Rio. Saturday at 10 a.m., folks. We're going to be assembling out at Laughlin Air Force Base on the highway.
Okay.
There's Miguel Zuniga and maybe we can get him on for a special. We can get with him. But anyways, he's been working with area landowners, the county, city, etc., to make arrangements. This horse trailers, and bro, they're expecting thousands of people.
Wow.
National level horse agencies, entities, anybody that's involved with the horses out there, whether it's from Western wear chaps and all that stuff, to the equipment you use on horses,
right,
to the activities that horses are involved in, right, bro. And think activities, rodeos and all that stuff. The nation is turning out right here to Del Rio. So let's make it an epicenter instead of invasion. Let's make it support for the men and women of Border Patrol, Horse Patrol, law enforcement,
and standing up for America,
standing up for America,
standing up for Texas and America and our freedoms and our rights. And maybe certain people will show up, that local representatives, local leaders that you can call out. A lot of people kind of criticize us on calling out leaders, but the reality is, folks, when you get in that position, you open up yourself to that, because you have a job, you have a responsibility to your people, your citizens, as Texans, as Americans, to keep our communities, our state, and our nation safe. Folks, we wanted to thank you so much for joining us here this morning on Talk About It Live with Frank and Manny. God willing, we'll be able to see you next Tuesday. Throughout the week, just keep an eye out for us. Sometimes we pop up live. I know Frank does pretty regularly, with Frank Lopez Jr., U.S. Border Patriot. And so we'll be trying to bring you more news and more events that are happening. But Frank, you got anything?
Yeah, I'm trying to work on setting up a bail fund. Bail me out fund. Hey, bro, it's just kind of funny, man. You're out there filming a man with a camera, and oh my God, man, it's such a threat. But anyways, folks, stay tuned to what's going on. It's not over with. The debacle down here, the Haitian invasion was, they got it out of sight, out of mind, but it's still happening. And there's, hundreds of thousands making their way up. The alarm is being sounded. And real quick, for the men and women of Border Patrol, law enforcement, the frontliners out there, I know there's emergency professionals as well. We're praying for y'all, because it's wrong what this mandate is doing, how it's coercing them and creating additional stress in their lives. We're praying for y'all. Pray for them, folks. We're asking, and thanks for watching in and tuning in to the show today.
Thank you so much. God bless you. God bless America. God bless Texas.